Hello, Axiom 3.9 is out this week. Myself, Alex, and my two co-founders, Yassi and Simon, are very excited about this release. But before I tell you more about it, we want to say a big shout out to Boris, who's taken the UI to the next level, to Matt, whose code is doing amazing things, and to Rizwan, who tested the impossible. Thank you guys. Okay, a bit about the release. I'm going to show you on screen in a moment, but just a quick summary of what's new. What have we got? We've got two new steps with new functionality. One step that clicks multiple buttons, and another step that allows you to append data to other data, whether along the horizontal or the vertical, because Axiom's data is all a 2D array, much like a spreadsheet. So add it to a column or add it to a row. Okay, what else is new? Our selector tool. It's undergoing lots of changes, and this is the first change part that's ready for release. It's a brand new design and a guided walkthrough to show new users how to use the selector tool. It's a really exciting change. It's really crisp, the tool now, and it's going in future releases. There's going to be even more changes and brand new features to it. So keep an eye out on that selector tool. It's getting better and better. Okay, what else? Our templates. When we first introduced the templates, they were a bit crude, and they still are. But we're working on them and they're getting much better. So now when you add a template in Axiom, we'll actually walk you through the steps you need to configure. That's a great help to new users. And we're going to update that UI and constantly improve it. We're going to increase the range of templates we have and what they do. There's going to be a whole new section coming soon to the Academy, so keep an eye out for that. Okay, so perhaps I shouldn't talk anymore. Let's dive in. Let me show you on screen what's new. Awesome. Hi, I'm going to take you through and show you all the new stuff. Before I do that, I'm going to be referring back to my release notes because I don't want to forget anything. And in fact, I already did. I forgot to mention the brand new scheduler that we've added into Axiom. It's available from Pro tier upwards. I'll show you that shortly, but let's start at the top of the list and take you through the new scraper design and tutorial. So this is the first of probably about 2 or 3 updates to the selector tool over the coming releases, because we're going to be adding new features to the selector tool to improve its usability. We've already done that. Indeed, this release, we've got a guided flow that now walks you through how to use. So if you're a brand new user, we show you how to use the selector tool, and we've also updated its UI. We're also adding a better custom selector tool in there and some really smart AI stuff behind the scenes. So let me create a new automation, start from blank. I'm going to interact, get current URL, and then I'm going to add a get data. So if you're new to Axiom, you could see in 2 steps, I've built a very simple scraper I just need to set up. Now, this is a little tweak to the design you can see that we've made. One of the things we're also improving, and we're doing it steadily over the releases, you probably won't even notice that it's already been happening, that we're improving the validation of Axiom. So if there's a field you've missed or hasn't been configured, we're going to highlight that to you to make it super simple to get it set up. And you can see we're really flagging that button now. It's highlighted red that it needs to be clicked. Without further ado, let me click it and show you the new selector tool. And this is, let me get me out of the way. And this is, I'll just go over to the right hand corner. This is the new design. We've got select a page. And it's just select some text on the page. So it's prompting you. If you're a new user, you will get flagged. You'll get some pop-ups flagging you. I'll try and show you that in a minute. But because I'm not a new user, it's not doing that. The guided walkthrough. So this is the design update. Now, instead of, it was a bit clunky before selecting what data type you want to select. Now I just go to this nice little drop down. I can select text, select HTML, or select a link, or indeed I can delete my column and make a new selection. So I'm just going to do select to add a new column. I simply do that, and again select the type of data I want and click select. And you can keep going until you've got all the data you need. Really simple, really clean, nice and easy to use. Up here we've got, basically allows you a button to switch the selector tool up to the top tab, top of the page, in case it's getting in your way. Now let me just move me out of the way and I can just tab it back down. go. We've also got a nice little feature that if you have any issues on a page you're trying to scrape or interact with, you can report a failure here and just send it to us. And of course here, there's a bit of help guide in our new academy. This will take you through how to use the selector tool. Okay. And then once you've made your selections, all you do is press complete and you're done. So that's the new design for the new selector tool. Let me just see if I can show it to you with the guided process. I'm just going to open another Axiom account here and see if that works. Actually, I'm going to try using a different user because I think it's quite cool to see the guided. I'm going to actually add Axiom to this user profile, or just change it to the new version. If you just bear with me for a moment, I'm just going to load it from build. And then, because I just think it's really cool to see, I'm just going to set up a dummy account, ignore the Okay, let me try creating a new Axiom. Interact. Add a substep. Get data. And now I'm going to select. And yes, we can see the guided experience this time, which is pretty cool. So this is just going to walk you through the setup. So this is designed to help our new users primarily. So if you're experienced with Axiom, you're going to be able to pick up the new UI already. Mouse over. So what's it saying? Mouse over page to click and select the element. So I'm just going to do that. Click and select element. Select different types of data, text link, etc. And you can also reset your selection or delete the column. Cool. There we go. So I can use that. Click here to add another column. So, all pretty simple. That's a cool little update, a cool little guided journey for the new user. Okay, I'm going to close those pages and go to next on the list. New guided step-by-step flow for configuring a template. Okay, so this is pretty cool. If you go to, let me move myself again. This is a really nice update. And again, I'm just showing you the selector tool. That's just part of the journey to the selector tool we want to build. Like everything you're seeing near in this release is a step to the next version, and then the next version. Axiom is something we're putting a lot of work in to improve. We know it's not perfect, but we're only so far along on the journey of how good we want to make this tool. So we've got some really exciting stuff coming up in the selector tool. For example, we're going to add an interactive UI for setting up custom selectors that's very intuitive, and that's all being worked on now. It's being designed, it's going to be built in this release, and possibly will make the next. Okay, so let me keep going though. I'm not going to save the changes there, and let me show you the guided journey. And again, this is the first part of the guided journey we're doing. This is the first version. We're going to iterate this and make this even more amazing, but it's really cool now. So let's say you open up one of our templates. Before, you just opened them up and you had a big splodge of instructions telling you what to do. Now we've got this start button, and we're going to make this better. I think we could really flag that you need to click the start button, etc. And once you click that start button, it's just going to show you what you need to do to complete the setup of the Axiom. So let me just do it. And you can see here, I need to actually grant permission. I'm a brand new user. Let me just do that. Go back. See there, we're just literally going to flag each field that needs configuration up for you, up to you, flag it to you. And so then you can get that step done and then move on to the next. That's pretty intuitive. It makes it really simple to set up and use our templates. Cool. Okay, so let me just close that and then go on to the next on the list. The scheduler has returned. as I mentioned. I forgot to mention that in the title. So let's start with the scheduler. I'm just going to switch accounts. I'm just going to log in. Hang on a moment. So yeah, this is my account, and I've got access to the scheduler. So I'm going to create a new automation and just show you the scheduler really quickly. So you can get to it by pressing on the cog, and it's only available for Pro tier upwards. You just toggle on and then it's very straightforward. You set your date, your time. Got this little draggy widget for setting your time, and then just your frequency, which we've got a few options in there for you. And that's a new scheduler tool. It obviously, a bit about its functionality. It works with the cloud. It doesn't work with the desktop app currently. Okay, and there are alternatives to this scheduler, of course. If you're using Zapier, you can trigger your axioms from Zapier. Okay, that's a pretty cool new feature and was requested on our roadmap. And by the way, if you're watching this video and you're thinking there's a feature that I want, or it's been, please do go and interact with our roadmap. You can suggest your own features or upvote from the list. Okay, cool. Next up on the release notes, fixing issues with the scraper tool, inaccurate scrolling, and results counting in some cases. So occasionally when using the scraper tool and paging through multiple pages, there would be the occasional instance that we found, and not on every website, that you expected 40 results, but you would get 38, and something strange would happen, and it was to do with the way the page was moving and the content was loading in. But we've worked hard on fixing that in most cases. And again, with the scrolling, sometimes we had different code in to do different things. Sometimes we scrolled the page right to the bottom, sometimes in small increments. Or we've worked hard, we've removed a lot of code we didn't need, and we've come up with a more optimum solution. We're testing that on a lot of sites that people reported issues with, and we fixed it. And of course, if you're still having an issue, do report it to us, because we're constantly updating that code to improve its reliability. And cool, always like a new step. Well, actually, we try not to add too many new features in case people don't, there's no point adding a feature that no one's going to use, but this is a feature that is really useful. So I'm just going to indeed find that step. One moment. Append or merge data. So this is pretty cool. So this basically allows you to specify one data source. That could be a Google Sheet. And a second data source could be a second sheet, or it could be a scraping step. And allows you to add that data. So either horizontally to the end, or vertically. And you of course get a little generated preview when that's done, but that's a pretty handy tool. So for example, why I would use that myself would be when, let's say I'm scraping a series of URLs and I'm looping through a Google Sheet, and then I'm scraping some data, but I want the URL that I'm scraping to appear on the Google Sheet of the outputted data. So what I could do was use the append or merge step, and then I could append the URL of the Google Sheet onto the outputted data from the scraper, and then write that to a sheet. So I'd find that really useful step myself. So that's pretty cool. Okay, what's next? A new step to click on multiple similar elements at once. If you just give me a moment, I just need to switch versions. I'm just basically building Axiom. Just run a command, and now just to show you this. that should be built now. Just going to open up Axiom again. Now, the next new step that we've added is for the interact step. So it's actually a sub-step. So that's all the steps that appear inside an interact step. And you see that the list has changed of what's available. Like sub, there's a difference between, in case you don't know, there's basically steps, which are the level above. And there's like write, read from sheets. There's interact step. And then you've got all the steps nested within the interact, and that's called a sub-step. Okay, click multiple elements. So that's basically a step that allows you to click on more than one button at once. Why I said that, I don't know. Let me just show you why you may want to use that. Let's just say you wanted to click on all of those buttons. You could use that functionality. Let me open up Axiom. Etc. So you can just select the buttons you wish to click on. Okay. And that will click on multiple buttons, like I said. And that basically, yeah, so like the release notes say, it helps you click on multiple buttons at once without having to do a loop. Okay, next up, you can now shorten the default waiting time for scrapers. Okay, that is a handy little feature actually, because this allows you to specify the minimum time a bot will wait. So you're only going to want to do this in some circumstances when you're scraping. So you may see that sometimes we've got a lot of algorithms that underneath the bonnet that try and work out when all the content is loaded onto a page, because not all content is loaded at the same time, and we have a wait in there that stops and it waits while that content loads before it does the scrape. Now, sometimes not all pages are created in the same way, and sometimes it can cause an issue, and the wait for content can seem to drag a little. The content is actually loaded really quickly and you just want to move on. So now you can specify the minimum wait and you can reduce it down. If doing this, what I would recommend is you experiment and increment. So first of all, reduce, start with like a 2-second wait and then try and like take it down a bit more, then a bit more and keep testing until you see something breaks, or if it keeps working, keep reducing it. And just find that optimum time, the minimum you can reduce it to. Otherwise, if all is working, I'd recommend you don't change that feature at all or play with that option. Okay, cool. Now I'm just going to read through the rest of the issues. I might not be able to show you anything for here. So fixing issues when sometimes there's connecting to the cloud. So let's just say you're running a bot in the cloud, and you go away and turn your computer off. Sometimes you'll come back and you'll try and open that cloud up and the link doesn't work again. That's when the cloud has become disconnected from the bot. The good thing is your bot is still running. Sorry, I explained that incorrectly. That means when the bot in the cloud that is still running and it will still complete its job has become disconnected from your Chrome extension. And it doesn't at all mean the bot has stopped running. Like I've said, that the bot is still going and will complete its task. And so we're just fixing those issues and those rare cases that happens. So we're also improving our error messaging. We're working on that all the time. Like I showed you earlier when we highlighted the button back at the start of the video, we're going to improve the the guided walkthroughs. We're going to improve the error messaging, flagging it, and also especially the error messaging when we're telling you what an error is, making it a lot more human readable, sort of understandable errors rather than confusing things you don't know what they're about. And we're of course constantly updating. Let me just show you our Academy and documentation. And we're going to be adding links throughout Axiom to the documentation, and we've added this common errors page. So we're going to be constantly updating that with errors and like how to fix them. And so you can better understand those errors and better solve the problems yourself. Okay, what's next? Yeah, next again was an error message fix. So we've got a step that allows you to connect other axioms to other axioms, and then you can chain your axioms, except when there was let me just read this now. When an error is encountered with an automation that loads another axiom. So before the error message, if there was something went wrong, it didn't tell you where the error was, which axiom. So you can imagine if you've got 10 axioms chained together, which advanced users do, a bit a needle in the haystack to solve because it wasn't telling you where the bug would be, but we now do that. Okay, and then finally we also have updated the handling of bad file names. So this is when you're uploading or downloading files. We now validate the file names properly, well, just when downloading files, as it says. And that's it from the list. There were also many minor fixes and little bugs we fixed, but we don't put everything into the release notes. But that's Axiom 3.9. We hope you like the release. We hope you notice the direction which Axiom's going in and the improvements we're making release on release. I'll give you a quick summary of where we're going in the future with Axiom on the next release. So the next release will continue to see the selector improvements. There will be new features into the selector tool. Of course, any bugs that come up, we'll be solving those as well. We're also working on a design of the next version of Axiom. See, this version was only ever a stepping stone to the even better version. And so we're working hard on that. And over the next 6 months, we're going to be building that. Looking to, obviously, we want to get it done as fast as possible. We want to make sure we do the right things. And so that's probably going to be at least 6 months away. But in the meantime, there will be new features released. We will be constantly updating Axiom and taking it to the next level, improving the guided processes, etc. But we're very excited about where Axiom's going to go in the future and then where the next version is going to go, because it's really going to build on what we've been making and it's going to make it even simpler to use. Okay, so I'll stop rambling for this video. Enjoy the new features, and if you've got any questions, if you need any support, as ever, please just go to our website. Let me find the page. Here we go. Just hide Axiom. Go to our website. It's Axiom / customer-support. It's really helpful if you do record a video, because it helps us actually visualize the bug you're talking about, because sometimes, not to be rude, sometimes it's really hard to describe a bug and not miss or bug or the problem or you want solving without all the detail. Sometimes detail is missed out, and if you've got a combination of a written submission and a video, we can generally solve the problems a lot easier with less questions. So please do get in touch if you need some help. And on to the next version of Axiom. Thank you.